Hello all of you back at Canisius High School in Buffalo. This is Father Corcoran, class of 76, joining you again from the beautiful island of Yap in the Western Pacific. Today we're on the new campus of Yap Catholic High School, and if you look behind me here you can see the buildings that we have now on our campus. All the way down to the left is our freshman classroom building, and to the right of that is our sophomore classroom building, followed by our junior space, and finally the last classroom building, which is still being built, will be for our first class of seniors, which will be next year. Also away from the classrooms we have a separate bathroom facility, and those are the 5 buildings that comprise our campus at this point. As you take a look over here in front of the classrooms, you can see that there is a stone path connecting the classrooms. That's a very traditional Yapese way of landscaping. There are stone paths throughout the island. Many of them are in the villages, and eventually we will have stone paths connecting the different parts of our campus. Let's take a walk over to our sophomore building now. Yap Catholic High School is a really cool school. I mean, it's really cool in a lot of ways, but literally it's really cool. And that's important in a place here like Yap. Here in Yap, because we're in the tropics, it's very hot all the time. Every day of the year the temperature gets up into the high 80s, some days it gets into the high 90s, and there's always high humidity. And because we're so close to the equator, the sun is extremely hot here. Most buildings on the island, like our classroom buildings, have metal roofs. Most buildings, though, when the sun hits those metal roofs, that heat gets transferred inside the building. And what happens is the ceiling fans, which are often found inside, pointing downward, blows that hot air down on people in the buildings. That's not a good system to use here in Yap. Our classrooms are designed in a very different way. Let's take a walk inside and I'll show you how. The way we designed our classroom buildings is that we decided to put not only the metal roof on the outside, but a ceiling on the inside as well. And in between the roof and the ceiling is an attic space, and that has a lot of insulation in it. So what happens is when the hot sun hits that metal roof, the insulation keeps a lot of that hot air in the attic space. We also have an exhaust fan up there that takes that hot air out. That in and of itself would keep the classroom much cooler than most buildings here. But also what we have are, in each classroom we have 8 ceiling fans. And what we do is we keep them on the lowest setting, and we actually point them upwards. We reverse the fans. The effect is that the fans actually draw in cool air from the verandas and push it up, and then that air escapes through the vents that are up by the ceiling. So what happens is we have a nice, fresh, cool air supply all day long. Now, the reason I mention all of this is because of your generosity last year, we've been able to use this kind of design in our classroom buildings. The money that you raised and donated and sent over here allowed us to buy all of these ceiling fans for all the buildings, the exhaust fans, and all the insulation for our ceilings and our verandas. So you have really helped to make this a cool school. I also want to mention here that we're hoping that a year from now we will also have a new building on campus. It will be located out here across from this sophomore building. If we take a look, it will be behind this gigantic, beautiful mahogany tree, which will be the centerpiece of our campus. The new building will house office space, it will have a general meeting and activity room, it will also have a science lab that will double as a computer center. And since we'll have computers there and a lot of our office equipment, it's going to need to be air conditioned. And of course, air conditioning out here in Yap is very expensive. So if you could actually raise money this year, donate some money, that would help to pay for the air conditioning in that building. And you could actually make this school and even cooler school. Now, by raising money and donating money and giving it to others, you are giving alms. And that, of course, is one of the 3 traditional practices associated with the season of Lent, which we begin today. And those 3 practices really go back, all the way back to our Jewish roots. And that's why we hear Jesus speaking of them in the gospel today. Last year I spoke to many of you on Ash Wednesday about the importance of looking inward during Lent. And I talked about getting to know ourselves and how we can use those 3 traditional practices to help to do that. But Lent is also a time of looking outward. It's a time of action and a time of being aware of the needs of people around us and the world around us and responding to those needs. And certainly by almsgiving, we are doing that in a very obvious way. But I think also in prayer and fasting, that also can be a tremendous help to us as well. When I think back to my 4 years at Canisius High School, I realized that my own prayer life during those days, as simple as it was at the time, really changed and evolved over my 4 years. While I was at Canisius, I was able to try some new things and experiment in prayer a little bit. I discovered how important spiritual reading can be for prayer. I learned some things in the classroom. I was inspired by some things at school liturgies. And I also learned a lot just from talking to teachers and others on the staff, both lay people and Jesuits. And I think that because I was able to deepen my prayer life while at Canisius, I was able to discern my own vocation to the priesthood once I went off to college. So I encourage each of you during this season of Lent to take some time and look at your own prayer life and see where your own relationship to God might be. I think also that fasting can be a real help during Lent as well. And again, I look back on my own experience at Canisius High School. I can remember in senior year, I decided during Holy Week that I was going to fast from Holy Thursday all the way to Easter Sunday. All I did was drink water. Now that was a lot of years ago, but I can remember that experience because I got pretty hungry during those days. And it actually was that hunger, that constant feeling of hunger, that was a constant reminder to me of what we were celebrating those days. That Jesus was crucified and died on the cross on Good Friday. And then also on Holy Saturday, that time of waiting and waiting, not knowing what would happen. So I know that the church has certain rules and regulations about fasting and abstinence during Lent, but I encourage you to go beyond that, and especially if you've never done it before, to try some kind of fasting during this season. I've also always looked at Lent as a journey of sorts. And for me, it's always great to have companions on a journey. So let me close by saying that for all of you back at CHS, you certainly have many companions here at YCHS. And my prayer for all of you today is that God may continue to inspire you, that God may continue to guide you, and that God may continue to watch over you. Have a great day and have a great season of Lent.